So here we are for our second meeting on the Svarupa of the Jiva. And today we will be continuing in the form of replying to Sita Devi's questions, which are just appropriate to the last class. The first question is, what is the difference between the seed that is the potential and the seed that is the potency, Bhakti Lata Bij, that's given by Sri Guru? So let's turn to chapter 9 of the Svarupa of the Jiva on page 113. And we're going to discuss the seed as the intrinsic taste that is realized at the time of perfection. And we're going to discuss the Bhakti Lata Bij, or the seed, as the seed of the creeper of bhakti given by Sri Guru. So we start with the introduction, which is that seed is a metaphysical homonym. A homonym means that there's two or more words that sound the same but have different meanings. Like, I can't bear it. There's a bear in the jungle. My bare arms. So it's the same sound, but different meanings. So, the seed is used to describe the intrinsic taste for a specific ras that is in the individual soul's constitution and the Krishna Seva Vasana, the awakening. So here's the difference already. One, even though the seed of the taste for a particular relationship is given at the time of manufacturing us by Krishna, we're not aware. We're in complete absence of any awareness of that until we get sadhusanga. The second meaning is the Krishna Seva Vasana. Vasana means desire. So it's the beginning or the awakening of the desire to serve Krishna, which begins as a seed, the Bhakti Lata seed, the seed of the creeper of bhakti. So, we're going to start with the Guru giving the seed, because there's that famous verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ramanda Bomite Konya Bhagya Vanaji Guru Krishna Prashade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. According to their karma, all living entities are wandering throughout the universe. Some are being elevated to heavenly planets, and some lowered to hellish planets. Out of many millions of wandering jivas, one who's very fortunate gets the opportunity to associate with a bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Krishna. By the mercy of Krishna and Guru, such a person receives the seed of the creeper of devotional service. So that seed of the creeper of devotional service, again, is Krishna Seva Vasana. It's an actual awakening, whereas the other seed doesn't necessitate an awakening. So I'm quoting a verse from Brihad Bhagavatamrita, where Srila Sanatana Goswami writes in his Brihad Bhagavatamrita, which is the Brihad Bhagavatamrita is the root of all the Goswami's literature. This is in the second canto. Vichitra tad ruchidana lila vibhutamutar kaitum prabhoka. By logic, this is the one the seed that comes at the time of manufacturing. By logic, no one can understand the purpose for which Krishna, he, has placed different tastes in the heart of his devotees, the individual living entities, and expanded the opulence of his pastimes accordingly. Then Srila Gurudev talks about that same seed, which is the potency created at the time of manufacturing. Question: regarding the Siddha Deha, or the spiritual body, it seems more like the seed is there in the heart, and then when Ladini and Samvit come, and then Gurudev interrupted to give the answer. The seed is there, only water is needed. Water is that mercy of Ladini and Samvit. So that's what the Guru gives. He starts beginning that, because his Hari Katha is imbued with the Svarupa Shakti, Samvit, Sandini, and Hladini, because his words are not coming from this world. And he, although he looks like he's present in this world, he's actually present in the spiritual world. So Gurudev says, if the seed is not there, why are there different siddhadeyas for different persons? Mercy is one, but why are there different kinds of siddhadeya? Moreover, there are not only 5 kinds of siddhadeya, although they're divided into 5, like Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. But actually, even within Madhurya Bhav, there's millions. Everybody is completely unique. There's unlimited kinds of Gopi Bhav. Sakya also, Vatsalya also. So there's something special in everyone. Regarding the gopis, no 2 gopis are alike. This is because of this verse in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Krishna wants to enjoy unlimited relationships. So he's put in unlimited tastes for unlimited relationships in the jivas. So then the question comes, so the individuality of the jiva is eternal? And Gurudev answers, Ras is in him. The siddhadeya is there, but without, meaning it's there in that seed. It's there in potency. But without mercy, it can't manifest. Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains this in his books, in the first sloka of Shikshastakam, and in so many other places. Unlike any other acharya before him, he was the first one to make everything so clear. Now, in the next conversation, which takes place in Hong Kong, he explains what it means that the Guru gives the seed. So this question is asked by Jaisri of China. Srila Gurudev, you say that only a pure Vaishnava Guru can give the seed of bhakti to the conditioned soul. At the same time, it says that the seed of bhakti is present in each soul. So how do we reconcile that? So Gurudev said the seed of bhakti is present in each soul, but there is something more to be given. A seed alone will not suffice. If there's no water, no air, no soil, no sun rays, then it will never sprout. Understand? So then she asked, I remember you saying that bhakti, or pure devotion, is a sentiment for Radha and Krishna. Does that mean that Guru gives the sentiment? Is that correct? So Gurudev said, first he gives the seed, meaning the desire, in other words, the awakening to serve Radha and Krishna. Though the seed is already in the heart, he makes the environment. In other words, he provides the water, the air, the sun rays, the soil. He gives something. So there's two things, as we discussed yesterday. According to the constitutional form of the Jiva, plus the association of pure devotees, then everything manifests. When Svarupa Shakti descends, because even those who have the idea that the Svarup is inherent, it doesn't come according to the various types of association, even some of them say that the Svarup is inherent in the Jiva, including the conditioned Jiva. But if that's the case, because the Svarup is permeated with Svarup Shakti, and the Svarup Shakti, Ladini, Samvit, and Sandini, which makes up the spiritual world, that is Sandini, the existence potency, maintenance potency, Ladini, the bliss potency, that's Radha, the Samvit potency, Krishna. That's what makes up all the relationships and all the land, the rivers, the forms of the associates. All of that is made of Svarup Shakti. Svarup Shakti can never come under Maya. Rather, Maya, or the external energy, is one of the insignificant potencies of Svarup Shakti. Svarup Shakti is divided into three: Chit Shakti, Jiva Shakti, and Maya Shakti. Or the internal potency, the marginal potency, and the external potency. So Svarup Shakti can never be overwhelmed by Maya. So it's not possible that the Siddhadeya, or the Svarup, which makes up our name, form, appearance, our braids, our dress, our in-laws, everything, our place of residence. It's not possible that it's there in the conditioned soul, because the conditioned soul is covered by Maya, and Svarup Shakti can never be covered by Maya. Svarup Shakti influences the Jiva, which we'll discuss when we come to chapter 12 of Svarupa Jiva. But it's not there. It has to descend at the time of Bhava Bhakti, and that's when the sadhak begins to manifest spiritual emotions and experiences his internal spiritual form. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah, excuse my ignorance. So what is the soul again? Or that original seed or potentiality? What's it made out of?
One of the questions.
All right, so there's
sorry, my
this. Right, if it's okay with you, I first want to discuss the conversation with Srila Bhakti began Bharati Goswami Maharaj again about how the Guru gives the seed. And then we can go back and discuss or read about the ontological nature of the jiva, even in its conditioned state, beyond matter.
Can I ask a
Because we're
question?
always beyond matter. Yes.
Just like because I think it's connected to what you're saying now. There is it's not my doubt, but there is a doubt that the seed that we are manufactured with, that potential is says that, what was the doubt? That Krishna is impartial, and that's how he is. That's how he should be. Wouldn't it be a certain kind of impartiality that he awards different rasas to different jivas according to, because according to different rasas there will be like a specific relationship, and some relationships are closer to him than others. Wouldn't that be some kind of impartiality in him awarding that kind of that's in the very out of nowhere? I don't know.
That would be a partiality, you mean?
That was the doubt was.
All right. Yes, we'll definitely come to that. But all rasas nourish Madhurya ras, and all rasas are nourished in turn by nourishing Madhurya ras. Very simple example. The cows go out with Krishna, and in that way they're nourishing Madhurya ras because it gets Krishna out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
And thus, Krishna loves the cows, and he massages them and milks them and embraces them and things
Mm-hmm.
like that. So Krishna knows what relationship will be most satisfying to the jivas who he creates.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody feels any lack. Mother Yasoda knows that Krishna loves Radhika more than anybody. But she's happy. She wants to help. There's no envy there.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's fully satisfied by their relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite an inconceivable thing because we can't imagine a realm like that.
Yeah. Okay, thanks.
All right, so let's we'll go to the ontological nature of the jiva just after we talk about the conversation with Srila Bhaktivedanta Bharati Goswami Maharaj regarding the seed, and he's just basically confirming everything that Srila Gurudev states. So the question is, the question is, although we have heard that Sri Guru gives the seed of bhakti at the time of initiation, which is mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we have also heard that the jiva is Nitya Krishna Das, an eternal servant of the Lord. Is this seed actually given by Guru, or is it already present in the jiva? So Srila Maharaj replied, while it's correct to say that Guru gives the seed of bhakti, the true purport of this statement is that the seed is already present, but it has been kept in a place where it can never grow. For example, if we keep a bag of seeds in a cupboard, can we expect the seeds to grow? No. But if someone reminds us about the seeds, we can take them out of the cupboard, place them in the soil, provide them with sunlight and water, and then they'll eventually turn into enormous trees and bear fruit. Similarly, Sri Guru reminds us that we have a wonderful seed of Krishna Bhakti in our hearts, and he teaches us how to nourish it by engaging our body in seva. He instructs us to hear Hari Katha with our ears, to clean the Lord's temple with our hands, to speak the Lord's glories with our tongue, and so on. By properly and sincerely following the process given by Guru, the seed of bhakti will sprout, grow, strengthen, and eventually bear the most wonderful sweet fruits of prema. Because of our karma, we're stuck in the material world. Therefore, we need to do sadhana under guidance in order to be released. By doing sadhana, we can go towards our goal. If we associate with devotees in Dasyaras, we will acquire their mood. Now it sounds like a contradiction, but it ends up not being.
Okay.
If in Sakyaras, we will acquire their mood. If we associate with devotees in Vatsalya, and so on. Whatever ras we are attracted to by our constitutional nature, we should associate with that type of devotee. We should associate with a Sajatiya devotee, meaning a devotee who's an ocean of the mood, which is in our own constitution. Then another conversation with him. We have an eternal relationship with Krishna, meaning our Svarupa. Is it already there, or is it given by Guru? He said, no, it is there from the beginning of your life, meaning your creation. Guru only clears the sambandha, means he helps to manifest it. Without that grace of Krishna, in other words, having the original Svarupa, we cannot live. We would be dead if that seed wasn't given by Krishna. And Gurudev said the same thing on another page. Your Svarupa was in a dormant state, and it was opened by Guru, opened by Vaishnavas. So, yeah, then it just continues in that way. And then it quotes other acharyas who are saying the same thing. And so how does the Guru know what is our Svarupa? It's because he can see our soul. All jivas have this is from Gurudev, all jivas have a special relationship with Krishna. All jivas have their own original eternal relationship. In this material world, that eternal relationship is covered. Sri Guru can see the soul's real form and nature. Why? Because he's able to see. He's existing in eternal time. So it's easy for him to see that. He knows the speciality of that person's relationship, and he bestows it. Bestows it means he makes it manifest by the mantra that he gives, like Diksha mantra. Because the Diksha mantra puts the relationship in our Hare Krishna mantra chanting. But that mantra applies to, like Gopal mantra applies to all rasas. But when you get Gopal mantra and Kam Gayatri, that means that you have the relationship of Madhurya Ras. And how does he know? Because he sees the soul. He said on another day, whatever relationship you have will manifest. And he's saying the same thing here that Srila Bharati Maharaj said, which is that without this relationship, no one can even exist. We have all the qualities required for this relationship in a latent or dormant position. So I'm going to go back to to answer Sita's question in the introduction in the section called Helpful Definitions. Let's go to Svarupa on page 4, Roman numeral 4. The word Svarupa has been used differently. 1, to indicate either the constitutional name, form, etc. of the jiva, and B, to indicate the spiritual nature of the jiva, even in the conditioned state, beyond and superior to the world of matter, but not yet imbued with Svarupa Shakti. Regarding the first meaning, Svarupa is the jiva's eternal, transcendental, constitutional form. In the perfect stage, The jiva is established in one of the 5 rasas: age, mood, service, dress, residence, and so on. This is our siddha deha. Then, regarding the other meaning, let's see if I can find that here. Okay, Svarupa is inherent in the constitution of the jiva. It is not inherent in the tatastha jiva, who has the tendency to turn away from Krishna and look towards Maya for happiness. It's our acharyas describe the jiva's ontological position, that is, his spiritual nature and composition, separate from either of these 2 states. Either of these 2 states means conditioned and liberated. This is under the, also on page 4, a little further up on the page, under the definition of jiva. So the jiva exists in 2 states, liberated and conditioned. And so there's a state which the jiva is in, even in a microbe, even in a cockroach, even in a scaby, in a demigod, in a tree. The ontological position of the jiva is always the same. And that is as the marginal potency, the jiva is pure, untouched by matter, eternal. He has an unchanging spiritual nature. He's composed of knowledge and bliss, and so on. This does not indicate a 3rd state. As mentioned, the jiva only has 2 states, liberated and conditioned. But in the meantime, while we're conditioned, we're still beyond matter. We're pure. We're not touched by the modes of nature. We think we are. Oh God, that guy insulted me again. How am I going to get back at him? I'm so hot. I'm so cold. This is all illusion. Really, I have no connection. I'm dreaming. This is called swapana stan, or the dream state of the jiva in conditioned life. And Jiva Goswami talks about it. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur talks about it in Jiva Dharma. Srila Gurudev also talks about it. Okay. Does that answer your question, Sita?
Yeah. Can't remember the question.
Okay. So now let's go to the Bhakti Lata Beach. Okay? Right now we're going to talk about, this is on page 118. Now we're going to talk about seed as the Bhakti Lata Beach. The introduction. Bhakti Lata Beach means the seed or beach of the creeper, Lata, of devotion, Bhakti. The seed as a potential is already there in the jiva's heart. So what is the Bhakti Lata Beach given by the Guru? It's the seed of Krishna Seva Vasana, the desire to serve Krishna. The conditioned soul is in abject ignorance of his Svarupa, fully oblivious. By contact with Guru, the realization of his Svarupa begins to awaken and unfold. So the seed metaphor at the beginning of this chapter refers to the space and time relationship between the jiva's conditioned state and his self-realization. That was, I think Sita was also asking that about linear time. It's the time-space relationship between our conditioned state and our self-realization. So Gurudev is going to explain this now, how the Guru awakens the desire. What is the meaning of Guru Krishna Prasade Pai? It generally means that one can attain the seed of Parabhakti by the combined mercy of Guru and Krishna. In this connection, however, there is another meaning. Here the meaning is that the bona fide Guru is a manifestation of Krishna himself. So interestingly, Krishna is doing everything.
Yeah.
Krishna gives us the seed at the time of manufacture, and then when the time is right, when we've collected enough sukritis and sanskars, having traveled through all the millions of species of life since the beginning of time, and we've collected enough, then that same Krishna manifests as Guru to give us the Bhakti Lata Bij. Everything is Krishna. There's nothing outside of Krishna. Of course, Krishna means Krishna and Radha, because Krishna without Radha is zero. So, the mercy of Krishna first manifests as the mercy of Guru, as Ashraya Vigraha. The desire will come only from Gurudev, the bona fide Vaishnava, and it does not matter whether he's acting as Shiksha Guru or Diksha Guru. He may act as Shiksha Guru in the case of a disciple who's initiated by a bona fide Guru, but he cannot avail himself of that Shiksha. So then the seed of the Bhakti Creeper comes from any high class of Guru. So then the question was asked to Gurudev, can you say something about the Krishna Seva Varsana? And Gurudev said, it may even come before initiation. One attains the seed of the desire to serve Krishna by associating with an elevated devotee. It's the seed of the desire. Okay, so what's the difference between the seed of the taste at the time of manufacturing and the seed of desire? Because one is an experience of the awakening and the other is no experience. The seed is already present in the heart, but it's latent. Just like any ordinary person, we can look at a seed, but we wouldn't know what the tree is going to be like, how many flowers are going to be there, how big it's going to be. But a very expert gardener, he can look at the seed and know everything about it. So regarding the Ladini and Samvit, that's not present in the conditioned Jiva. I'm turning to the back of the book, which is the back of the book is the explanation of the cover of the book. A tree's particular features are not directly manifest in the seed, but still the seedling and the tree, with its leaves, branches, fruits, flowers, and flavor, are present in the seed in an unmanifest form. We never see a deviation from this. Am I still recording? Okay. In the very same way, everything, the Jiva's constitutional name, form, bodily limbs, and nature, are present in an unmanifested form within him. Here's the big thing. When the essence of Ladini and Samvit arises in the heart of the Jiva by the association of a bona fide Guru and Vaishnavas, then his constitutional form, whatever it may be, begins to manifest. Because Svarupa Shakti can never be covered. There's a whole chapter in this book, Svarupa of the Jiva, which is all about Svarupa Shakti. From Jiva Dharma, from Prabhupada's translations of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela chapter 4, because all throughout the book it's talking about Svarupa Shakti. But exactly what is Svarupa Shakti? There's a whole chapter about that at the end. So is that clear about the difference between the two seeds? Sita?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so then your next question is that you quote consider the analogy of the mango seed.
Yeah.
Right? We just read that.
Yeah.
So you're asking, is this the description of the Jiva's constitutional identity in eternal time? What is the Jiva's transcendental identity in linear time? I think that's also already covered.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the next question, you're quoting from a letter from Srila Prabhupada in 1969. In further reference to your question, this is to my god brother, what's his name? I forget his name just now. In further reference to your question about the form of the spirit soul of the conditioned living entity, there is a spiritual form always, but it develops fully only when the living entity goes back to Vaikuntha. This form, and that's in a whole other topic. What does it mean, go back to Godhead, back to Vaikuntha, back to Goloka Vrindavan?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that we were already there and we left. Gurudev gives the analogy that one of Prabhupada's disciples, my god sister, named Chandrika, she's from America, but she was the Gurukula teacher in Vrindavan, and her son was born in India. He wasn't born in America, but still, when he's on holiday, he's going to tell his friends in Vrindavan, I'm going home. I'm going back home now for my holiday. But he was never there. So this form develops This form develops according to the desire of the living entity. So the question is, Sita's asking, what does it mean according to the desire? It means according to the taste for a particular relationship.
Okay.
Desire, taste. I desire the chocolate cake. I have taste for the chocolate cake. Same thing.
Okay.
But it's not experienced at the time of manufacturing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So until this perfectional stage is reached, the form is lying dormant. As the form of a tree is lying dormant in the seed, which is the same thing as the cover of the Svarupa of the Jiva.
Yeah.
So then the next question you're asking, in the book Journey of the Soul, Gurudev says, in his natural state, in his constitutional form, the Jiva is pure, although he is minute. He is an atomic portion of Chit Shakti, the Lord's own transcendental potency. What does being an atomic portion of Chit Shakti mean? Okay, so let's jump then to Journey of the Soul. And I hope I found the right place. Gurudev explains, okay. We're not pure Svarupa Shakti or internal potency. Rather, the Tatastha Shakti is one of the energies of Svarupa Shakti, but not full Svarupa Shakti. Svarupa Shakti is the associates of the Lord in Goloka Vrindavan or in any of the other of the Lord's abodes. The Lord's incarnations are also Svarupa Shakti, like Nrsimha. Did somebody say something? Ram. The Swamsa incarnations. All right, so let's see. Somewhere, hopefully here, it talks about that we are manifest from the Chit Shakti, and we're atomic portions of the Chit Shakti. But that atomic portion is called the Tatastha Shakti. Although we're Chit, how are we Chit? Because Chit means conscious. It means spiritual or transcendental. And that's what we are. we are chit vastu, or a substance made of pure consciousness. But we've never experienced that. And that, why is there a Tatastha region anyway? Because everything has to be there. Otherwise, the Lord's creation could not be complete if everything wasn't there. But really, although really Gurudev said there's no area, there's no geographic area called Tatastha. We discussed that a little bit yesterday. But still, like even though Gurudev knows that, still that's how he explains us in his lectures, in his translation of Jiva Dharma, because that's the only way we can really grasp it, that Baladev manufactures or manifests the pure jivas in Goloka Vrindavan, and then his expansion manifests the pure jivas who are eternally engaged in service without any awareness of Maya. They don't even know that there's a world of Maya. And Mul Sankarshan, the expansion of Balaram and Dwarka Mathura, manifests the jivas who are serving Krishna there eternally. Maha Sankarshan manifests the jivas who are eternally serving in Vaikuntha. And then Balaram manifests as Mahavishnu or Karunadakshayi Vishnu, who manifests the Tatastha jivas who have that choice and bounce off one side or the other of the knife. So it has to be explained like this so that we'll gradually understand. So we don't just throw it out and say we're not going to give that analogy anymore when we preach to people.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
Yeah, it's because my question is also based because because based on the argument that because when I was reading about the jiva not having its spiritual potential or identity inherent, the kind of foundational argument it made me think about, what do I actually know about that from Gurudev's teachings, is that because the jiva is tatashta, so tatashta is devoid of Swarup Shakti. Then they were equaling Swarup Shakti to bhakti. So if we are devoid of bhakti, there is no potentiality there for anything to be.
There's no what?
There's no potentiality for anything to be manifested because nothing's there. Swarup Shakti is not there, and any mood of like any seed or anything like that, it won't be present when there isn't such when Swarup Shakti is not present there.
The influence of Swarup Shakti is there on the jiva. The influence of all three.
So that
is there.
This is what's in being Tatashta Jiva, because I understood where you said that Swarup Shakti is not present in a way, it's not fully present because it can't be covered by Maya like the Tatashta Jiva is. So, but you're saying, can you say that again? You say so.
Well, Gurudev said the influence. Well, it's stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that the Swarup Shakti influences the jiva in various ways.
Okay.
One of the Shakti's influences is form. Perverted reflection of Hladini Shakti is our thirst for material happiness. Like that. I'll read that part from the Chaitanya Charitamrita.
So there's the perverted reflection.
Because there's nothing. There's nothing in existence really outside Swarup Shakti. Even the Bahiranga Shakti is just a manifestation of Swarup Shakti.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
What were you saying?
Yeah, no, because the argument was, therefore bhakti comes from bhakti, meaning we have no bhakti, therefore bhakti has to come from us, from someone who is fully endowed and a manifestation of Swarup Shakti. But understanding what
that is the consideration of linear time without the appropriate understanding of the two time factors.
I understand, yeah.
In fact, they say that the word tatastha means that it can go anywhere, to any ras. There's nothing fixed.
Okay.
But Jiva Goswami explains Tatastha. Oh, what is that? It's there's one chapter in here called, I think it's called Who Am I? It's the chapter just before does Guru give the seed? Let me try to find that. And we're just touching all the quotes. Okay,
Yeah.
Who am I? So then within that chapter, chapter 8, each part of that verse, Jiver Svarupa Hoy Krishnara Nitya Das, is defined by our acharyas. So the word Tatastha, okay, so Tatastha, that's page 107. One might ask, if Tatastha does not refer to the Svarup, or the constitutional form of the Jiva, then what does it refer to? Our Guru Varga illuminates the meaning as follows. Jiva Goswami, because the Jiva's position, okay, so this is a response to those who say that Tatastha means it can go anywhere. It can pick any relationship according to the association it has.
Mm-hmm.
So Jiva Goswami says, because the Jiva's position is between the nature of the potency of material ignorance and the nature of the spiritual energy, the individual spirit soul is called marginal potency. That's why we're called Tatastha. And this is from Paramatma Sandarbha, Anuchet 37, text 12. Then in Jiva Dharma, Babaji says, this is from chapter 15. Babaji says, this Jiva Tattva is described in many places of the Vedas. I will cite a few of them. Innumerable Jivas emanate from Parabrahma, just like tiny sparks from a fire. That's he's quoting from Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad. There are two positions about which the Jiva Purusha should inquire: the inanimate material world and the spiritual world. The Jiva is situated, here we come to the dream, situated in a third position, which is a dream-like condition, swapna stan, and is the juncture, tatastha, between the other two, being situated at a place where the two worlds meet. Again, this is all provisional.
Yeah.
He sees both the Jagat, Jada Jagat, inert world, and the Chit Jagat, spiritual world. Then he's again continuing, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, quoting Babaji. This sloka describes the marginal nature of Jiva Shakti. Again, it is said in Brihad Aranyaka Upanishad, just as a large fish in a river sometimes goes to the eastern bank and sometimes to the western bank, so the Jiva, being situated in Karna Jal, the water of cause, that lies between the inert and conscious worlds, also gradually wanders to both banks. This does not mean that he goes from the spiritual world to the conditioned world to the spiritual world to the conditioned world. It's talking really about the two kinds of jivas, the eternally liberated jiva, nitya unmukh, and the anadi bada jiva, or the jiva who's been conditioned since the time that's so long that it can't be calculated. Is that, okay. So then, also in Jiva Dharma, Brajanath is asking Babaji, what is the Tatastha Swabhav, marginal nature? Babaji replies, it's the nature that enables one to be situated between both worlds, to see both sides. It's the eligibility to come under the control of either of the Shaktis. It's all, same thing, said in different words. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm that when you because the arguments that I was reading was that it isn't present at all because we are
Yes.
Tatashta. Swarup Shakti is not present at all, so therefore it has to be given to us. But when we see, like in Java Dharma, it said, I heard from Gurudev that, like you said just now, the perverted reflection of it is seen in us in a perverted way. Does that imply?
Yeah.
Does that imply that there is a seed of that within us, or there is a connection with that within us by the perverted reflection seen in us?
We have the potential for the Svarupa Shakti to affect us in a specific kind of way.
Yeah.
Otherwise, as Srila Gurudev said and Srila Bharati Goswami Maharaj said, otherwise we would not exist. We could not live. We would be like an inert stone or a table or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to jump to the chapter called Svarupa Shakti. And here, these are all part of the Svarupa Shakti. Let's see. Like it talks about how Krishna is the complete Shaktiman Tattva, and Radhika is the complete Shakti. She's the complete Svarupa Shakti. So that they can relish their Leela. So, the Svarupa Shakti, Radhika, has three kinds of potency of activity, known as Chit Shakti, Jiva Shakti, and Maya Shakti. So we're already a manifestation of the Svarupa Shakti.
Yeah.
Nothing can exist without Svarupa Shakti.
Mm-hmm.
So all the eternal characteristics of Svarupa Shakti, this is Jiva Dharma, are completely present in the Chit Shakti, present to a minute degree in the Jiva Shakti, and present in a distorted way in the Maya Shakti. So then there's like a footnote. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur does not mean to say that there's a tiny amount of pure Svarupa Shakti in the Jiva.
Mm-hmm. This
is because Svarupa Shakti cannot be adulterated, covered, or controlled by another energy. It simply refers to the fact that Svarupa Shakti influences the other Shaktis, which are nothing but a manifestation of that Svarupa Shakti.
Okay.
And the other Shaktis have no independent existence.
Mm-hmm.
Another way of reading this would be the influence of the three aspects of Svarupa Shakti, Hladini, Sandini, and Samvit, is seen fully in the spiritual potency, minutely in the marginal potency, and pervertedly reflected in the external potency. Yeah. Does that help at all?
Yeah, completely, yeah, thanks.
Oh, so let me see. I think I covered all of your questions. Let me look at my phone.
Yeah, because the other questions have to do with this. Yeah.
Okay, so then you ask another one.
They're kind of to do with what you said already. They're kind of to do with what you already said, I think.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah. So now it is 5:15. That's about an hour. Are there any questions from any of the devotees? You can put on the you can put on the fan. Are there any questions from any of the devotees at present?
I have a question. I'm just wondering, so what I understand so far that the Jiva is not Satchit Ananda and is somehow manifested by like Chit Shakti, which is like I don't quite understand. Like how can I? What does it mean?
The Jiva is Satchitananda in potency, ontologically,
Right.
and that becomes manifest in our constitutional form as full knowledge, full bliss, but even ontologically, that's there in potency, even in the conditioned state. But it has a different meaning than the Satchitananda. Again, it's a homonym. The Satchitananda that's there in the constitutional form, where I'm enjoying with Krishna and Radha eternally in full bliss. And the Manjaris, they even know more than Krishna in some ways, because they can even defeat Krishna in argument, and they could even make Krishna almost faint by lying to him and having him believe them. This is the wonderful thing about the Constitution. Does that answer your question? See, the thing is that it's all inconceivable.
To it again.
As long as we're conditioned.
Yeah.
Because although they're speaking from the spiritual world, and they are spiritual, when it comes to us through mundane language and filtered through our mundane intelligence, we don't get the same thing that they mean. Yeah. Kamala, you wanted to say something?
Yeah. Can I just try to confirm something with you, which is is that I'm understanding that my constitutional form, my intrinsic form it's like the chit potency. It's coming from the Tatashta region. So it's been influenced by that Svarupa Shakti. It's coming from that Tatashta region. So therefore it has, could you say like it has a ability or speciality to be covered by Maya or go towards...
Could you start from the beginning?
Yeah, okay. So this is my understanding that my intrinsic form, my Svarupa, it is manifest. It's influenced by the Svarupa Shakti, and it's manifest from.
It's permeated. It's permeated with Svarupa Shakti.
It's permeated.
It's made of Svarupa Shakti. Otherwise, you couldn't be there in the spiritual world playing with Radha and Krishna.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah. Okay. Forgot I was there a minute. So this manifestation in the Tatashta region.
And ultimately, there's no Tatastha region.
I think you're messing with my head. Go on.
I don't want to mess with your mind. Go ahead. So what?
Is that the?
Is what?
Is that the?
Is what
the Tatashta region that I'm at the present manifested from? Is
we're not manifested from the region. We're manifested from the Tatastha Shakti.
Yes.
We are manifestations of Tatastha Shakti.
Okay. So
is that what? Huh?
Could you say that this Tatashta Shakti is not covered by Maya, but it has an ability to either be covered or not covered?
We are covered. We're covered because we made the wrong choice. In the Tatastha region, you could say, having come out, this is provisional, having come out from Mahavishnu or Karnadakshai Vishnu, through the light coming from in between his eyebrows, we have a moment's choice to turn towards Krishna and turn towards Maya. And those who turned towards Krishna, that was their full sadhana. They went to whatever place they were destined to. If they're destined to go to Goloka Vrindavan, however, that requires some training. And so they'll become situated somewhere where they'll get very advanced association and be very advanced and immediately be able to have the greed for Raganuga Bhakti and then get trained how to serve Radharani.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So that means that...
So those of us who turned away,
yeah,
who fell off the wrong side of the knife, we have been in abject ignorance since the beginning of time.
Yes. Which is, and that is covered. I feel like I'm covered by Maya, but am I not? But you said that I was like Svarupa Shakti, so I'm getting confused again. Why am I covered?
We are manifestation because it's new.
Yeah.
That's why we're confused.
Yeah.
So many words.
Yeah.
Svarupa Shakti cannot be covered.
Yeah.
We are manifestations of Svarupa Shakti, which has three manifestations.
Yes, yes.
The Chit Shakti, or internal spiritual world, the Jiva Shakti, the marginal potency, and the external potency, Bahiranga Shakti. So all three are manifested of Svarupa Shakti.
Yeah. Okay.
But we're not permeated with Svarupa Shakti, even though we're atomic portions of Chit Shakti, because we're Chit Vastu, we're Chit, we're substance made of consciousness. We're still in the category of Tatastha Shakti.
You are talking linear time right now, aren't you?
I'm talking linear time.
Yeah. Just checking.
Okay, so I guess our time is up now.
No, linear time.
Would you like a part? In linear time, part 3 is over.
Okay.
Part 2 is over. Would you like a part 3, or is it already too
Yes, please.
too boring?
Yeah. No, we love it. We love it.
What do the other devotees think who's sitting with you?
Come on, girls.
Yes.
Shake a leg. Shake a leg.
I want to know about this covered stage.
I would like to suggest that you do some reading in between
Yes, we will.
now and then in linear time, so that
the book.
terms become a little bit more familiar.
Yes, okay. We landed.
While we were engaged in compiling with a few other devotees the quotes for Svarupa the Jiva, we were hearing this for months before it became clear according to our mundane consciousness.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Okay, yes, we will.
Does that make sense?
Yes, we will.
Because
now
they're
start
all
learning.
new terms, because we're just used to, in a blurry way, combining. So like we say that there's a spiritual body under this material body, because that's what we hear from our acharyas, but we're sleeping. So because, let's say we say, oh, Prabhupada said there's a spiritual body under this material body, and the material body is just a coating. And they say, no, you're wrong, because Svarupa Shakti can never be covered by Maya. There's no sleeping spiritual body underneath. And that is correct. So Prabhupada's statement is provisional.
Okay.
And needs to be understood in terms of eternal time, linear time, and all that.
Yes, understand. Okay.
Okay, I guess that's the end for today.
Okay.
And we'll see you when you make another arrangement.
Okay, great.
Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol.
Bol.
Manchukalpachubhyascha Kripasindhubhyevacha Pachitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.